Hello, I'm Chris Athanas. I'm a KMP developer. Today we're going to be reviewing an app I just built called Cloud Cover USA 2, replacement of Cloud Cover USA 1. Oh yeah, okay, tech support. They said they're coming out on Tuesday, so hopefully that will be closed soon and out of my hair. All right, so I'm just going to demo the app real quick. Um, just a Cloud Cover app, Cloud View app um, to show the cloud cover United States, and you can pan around it, zoom in, zoom out. I do have a limited zoom right now. I might make it more, or you can change it if you want. And then we also have the about box here, and you can do the 4 hour or the 12 hour. 12 hour, of course, has more animations. And I'm using Coil 3 as the library, the animation library, and KTOR for the networking. And so this thing has to load all the way into RAM, and sometimes the cache doesn't quite fit. It'll like flush out the cache sometimes, so you see a black frame, and the black frame allows is it means Coil is like trying to reload that image. So I have some logic in there, which I'll go over in this video or the next one. And then we also have a show 5 days. So we have the 5 day movie, and this is all coming from the SSEC, the Space Science Environmental Center, or something like that. I put it's in the source code if you want to look at which website I'm using. But I'm gonna flip this thing to the side like this. Oh. So that's looping movie here of the SSEC, and it's using an old algorithm, so it has to like load it all into memory, and it does this little freezing thing on the loop. So that's just how it works. And then we also have the reset here if you wanted to, uh, get the latest, freshest images. So that's how that works. And let's see. Let me get into it here. I'm gonna close this down so it doesn't use up all my RAM and CPU. All right. Let's see. So I basically have three targets right now. Um, I've got iOS. I've got Android, JVM, which is a desktop, and JavaScript of all things, and which doesn't quite work. But I'll get into that. And desktop. And the only ones that work really really well is the iOS and the Android targets work super well. The desktop, I'm having some issues actually deploying that and to the it works locally, but it doesn't go to the app store. So I'm not able to get it signed, I can get it verified and all that stuff in the app store and locally, but it still doesn't work because of this JVM access. I'm gonna get into that here. It's basically this desktop target here. These things right here don't work. These libraries right here that are based on Java, I can't quite get them to work. I also tried using web views. Thought maybe it's just this library that's a problem. I tried this web view thing, which is also a Java type library. It's a wrapper around swing panel components. I've never used swing panel components, so they're trying to do a wrapper. I don't. Uh, they have some issues with the new security procedures, privacy procedures. I think the Mac and Apple are doing now. So this stuff may have worked at some point, but it doesn't work now. So that's important to know. But the cool thing is, instead of targeting the desktop, you can just target iOS, and it'll be available on the desktop. Now, I'm still trying to figure out how to get like location information, and some of the APIs don't work for my other app, Fred's Road Trip Storyteller. That app uses GPS location, uses location services. That does not work, even though the target is iOS. Like you run it on the desktop for Mac, it doesn't get the location because it's not. I guess it's just not available. I'm not doing it right. So I got to work on that. But instead of targeting desktop on Mac OS, if you target iOS, you can put it in that store and make it available, and it's a full blown app. You get all the access to all the things you need to with it. So yeah, so that's interesting. Let's see. Let's go to the app here itself. Um, it's pretty simple. A lot of this stuff, so I made it just no view model, one just flat compose app. I don't have my UI testing on this. I don't think it's really necessary because it's all right there. I mean, I guess I could put it in there eventually if I want to, but you know, we'll see. Um, but right now there's nothing in it. So I've got a loading like so basically using the Coil 3 library here on this thing, this big old thing. Uh, let me see here. Let's go close this down a little bit. So basically, to load the images, you do have to. I bet you have to build this image request. This is Coil 3. This is how I figured out how to make it work. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. Probably not. But this is the way that it does work. You have to build these image requests. And the way it works now, it has to be sequential. So I get one, and then I get the next one, get the next one, get the next one. And I load them up one at a time. There's probably it probably could be done in parallel, but right now this is how it works. And this is just I discovered some things about Coil that I'm probably gonna have to swap this out at some point, but right now it's fine. So you have to build an image request, which you tell it the data where the data is coming from, which is the root HTTPS root of the image, and then you set up these listeners. So listener for when it starts, when it's successful, when it gets an error, when it gets canceled, and then you also give it this disk cache key. This is a way so you can reset the cache easily. It's very bizarre how this works. You have to give it a random number here, and that's what keeps the cache fresh. Is getting a new copy. Okay, whatever. It's how it works. I had to go look this up on Stack Overflow. And you have to build. I tried to build these headers here, so you got to know which one errored. So right here is where it gets the it figures out which one of these things it errored if which one was successful. So it just does one at a time. I'm sure that can be optimized, but that's how it works right now. Let's see. So initialize here. So I cycle each frame. So this sets it up. This sets up the loading, and it has to be visible. This thing it was like okay, it has to be visible. So I hide it using another drawable composable on top here. This little is is loading movie here. Yeah, I keep a little box on top here. No, not that's not it. Right here, loading indicator right here. So I hide the fact that that this image composable has to be visible to the user for it to load. It has to be in the composition for it to load. This right here, this async image. So that's it. Won't call this image request if it's not visible. So how I'm using it is kind of like not the way it's supposed to be used. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure async image is supposed to have a bunch of static images, not running an animation like I'm doing. But I want to see if it would work. And it was, it's an interesting project. Okay, there you go. And it also shows how to set the okay, so that's how I set the image request up. So it gets an image, and then it goes. So it loads it. After it loads it, it gets this is loading finished here. Um, gets clicked over and on each one, and then once it loads them all, it just clicks to the frames and has a delay here. So it loads it, and then as it gets loaded, it sets the next one up for loading. So it goes chick, 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 chick. So it goes one at a time. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but and then here's like oh here. So the panning and the zooming is like how do you do that shit? It's like right here, this transformable thing right here. This is what does it with this graphics layer. It sets up this transformable object here that gets in the change in the zoom and the change in the pan as the person does the things. It does all that tracking for you, which is like super nice. This remember transformable, and then it changes the pan and zoom based on those touches. And it's globally positioned is to get the size for the fit ratio for when you scale it up on it. You have to, this is what all that's for is to scale it to the right appropriate view for this particular phone that you're on, wherever the viewport is. And then here's where it plays the movie. This is where I'm having these problems on desktop. The iOS works great. Android works great. I mean, I'm playing the movie from the SSEC, so I'm not recompressing it or anything like that. The compression algorithm they're using is like 10 years old, 15 years old. So it has some issues on mobile. It could definitely be optimized since then, of course. And if I really wanted to do more with this project, I would probably recompress. I'd have some server somewhere recompress the SSEC movie so to be more mobile compatible because it does struggle It does struggle bus on some lighter weight mobile devices, lower memory devices. So anyway, there's a loading indicator there, and here's just showing the controls, just some buttons. And I'm including the material, including material icons here. They're super fun and easy to use. Build up your little UIs like this. And yeah, so here's where you toggle the map. Where are you gonna reset? Okay. Okay, so we got the about box there, and toggle the 12-hour map, toggle the 5-hour map here, reload the map here. So to reload the map, I just call this reload map thing, which just resets the map to resets these variables, and then dumps the cache here for the coil 3 image loader, and clears all the image requests out, and starts it over. And then I do this thing where to trigger this value change. I don't really care what the value is. I just flip it, and it launches this thing and starts the loading here again. And if the finish count's number, none of the finish count is static. I just set it because the SSC never, it always has the same number of frames. So that's kind of neat there. So, and this thing is to make the cache be bustable. I had all kinds of issues with it. Maybe this isn't even necessary now that I've got this functionality here, where to clear out the disk and memory cache. I do remember trying to test that. Anyway, this makes it so it doesn't matter. It blows it away anyway, because it thinks this is a new image. And this is a really interesting technique. You can add this little $sign or this question mark and then some random number to any URL with this coil 3. It'll bust the cache and it doesn't bother the URL loader. And in most places that you ask for will just ignore that number. So that's an interesting little trick, a little webmaster trick, I guess. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about here? Um, I'll get into the privacy, how to set up the privacy, how I set the privacy up, because that was the major thing I was looking for on this was this animated images, like how to do that efficiently. And I don't think Coil 3 is really the best library for it. There might be another one out there that may be more appropriate. Let me see if I can find which one I'm gonna try. If I try this again, what I'd recommend. Okay, yeah, so I might check out this Compose image loader. It's a Compose image library from Compose for Kotlin Multi-Platform. It's actively being worked on. And it might be a better way to cache these things, load them up instead of just doing this kind of hacky thing and forcing Coil 3 to make it work. So this might be a better way to set it up. I'm gonna look into this at some point. Yeah, you set these image requests up. So I'm thinking you might be able to run these image requests and get the bitmaps without having to display them to the user. So this is what I'm gonna check out. But yeah, so that's it for this video. I'm trying to keep it under 20 minutes. And I will show how in the next one how to do the XC privacy notice stuff for cross-platform. Maybe show some deployment also, how I deployed some of these KMP projects. All right. Thanks for watching.